We are back, my friends, and there ain't no laws when you're drinking the claws. I know nothing really original with that drink today, but whatever. It's been a while. I think April 12th was our last recording. This is episode 12 of Quarantine Cards. I'm your host, TC Popcorn. At TC Popcorn on Twitter, ditto on Insta. Like, share, love, all of the above. Comment, concerns, anything. Love to hear from you. Hope you're staying busy. Our stay at home here in Illinois has just been extended through May. School has been canceled for the rest of the year for the youngins, so that's entertaining and interesting as well. Uh, it's gonna be a while before we get back to normal, to say the least. Um, Gonna be doing some stuff with the Schaumburg Boomers this week, so look for that on social media as well. Today we got some interesting stuff to get to. I thought I would start by talking about some of the cleaning that I've been doing again lately. If you remember back to the last episode, I was breaking out some cassette tapes, found some more. We got Aerosmith, Get a Grip. This is a great one. It takes me back to about probably 1992, 93, and I don't even know why I'm saving this anymore except for sentimental reasons because I've got the dangly strip. Do you remember when this would happen and you were getting so mad? I'd be like, I know I've listened to it a lot, but why did my tape deck just eat this? It ate the rich, Aerosmith reference. Speaking of Eat the Rich, this was about almost halfway through. It was probably right about Fever, the Aerosmith song on this side. And on the flip side, it'd be towards the end, so probably Line Up or Amazing. You remember Alicia Silverstone starred in all those Aerosmith movies? Or movies, music videos back on MTV. Good times. So this is probably heading for the garbage pile. But remember, you'd have to like restring it or undo it, and then try and untangle it and find some tape to piece it together and hope that something would go on. Good times. Steven Tyler and the boys. I think they're doing a Vegas residency at some point. It'd probably be worth a visit to go see them in Las Vegas. Get a Grip, Aerosmith. Featuring great songs like Living on the Edge and I Was Crying When I Met You, But I'm Dying to Forget You. Finished Ozark recently in my Netflix binging, season 3. Absolutely incredible. The first couple episodes were really slow. I think I remember talking about that on episode 11 or 10 before then. See, it's all blurring together right now. I don't even know what day it is. My wife's just like, it's Groundhog Day. I'm like, yeah, basically it is. It's like the scene in Zoolander where David Duchovny, the hand model, has his hand in the glass thing, and Derek Zoolander has him explain it, and he's like, but why male models? David Duchovny looks at him and goes, are you serious? I just said that. Something along those lines. So that's kind of where we are now. But I did want to say, since a couple of my friends posted during the last episode about doing some gum. This is episode 12. So on episode 15, so 3 episodes from now, whenever that is, maybe about this time next week, we'll see, the chance to have some gum from the 1990s in my gullet and give you the true, honest assessment of that. So Ozark was really good, ended strong. Did you guys watch any of the NFL draft? How crazy was that to see the coverage? I think it actually worked kind of flawlessly from ESPN's end. I thought it was pretty cool to see like the characters being by characters. I mean the coaches and the GMs with their families. So just be sitting around here looking up, trying to do my work, and here's Matt Patricia, the head coach of the Lions, constantly high-fiving his son right next to him. I think they did it on purpose. Like they knew every time they were going to be on TV, they would high-five. Bears draft thoughts? There are 10 tight ends on the roster now. I don't know if that was necessary or not, but we'll see. Can't complain too much about it. The only thing that I would complain is coverage-wise. Once you got to today, which is rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7. By the way, shout out to North Central College quarterback Brock Rutter, who signed a free agent deal with the 49ers, the National Offensive Player of the Year for the National Champs in Division III. And a shout out to the St. John's lineman, who got drafted in the 4th round, first D3 player to be drafted since 2015. But besides that, just the coverage today, like you didn't know who was getting picked ever. They had their favorites clearly, and they picked on them and went with it, and you didn't even know. Like picks were just kind of rolling in. There was no more Roger Goodell introducing them. The name would just pop up on the screen. Sometimes they'd talk about them, sometimes they wouldn't. There was trades being made. The Bears made a few trades today, and they weren't talking about them on ESPN. I was like, come on, I'm trying to find this out. And why Ryan Pace did it take until the 7th round to draft an offensive lineman? Come on. But did you see that the Bears today also signed Khalil Mack's brother to a free agent contract? Had a really good season, kind of a breakout at the University of Buffalo. Hasn't been playing football for a long time, so we'll see if that amounts to anything. He's a defensive end. How about The Last Dance? Did you watch the first 2 episodes of that last Sunday? It is must-see TV if you haven't seen it. And the producers have promised that there's more stuff coming because apparently as the year progressed, the Bulls got more and more comfortable having the cameras around, so they kind of started opening things up and letting their guard down a little bit more. So that'll be kind of interesting to see. I guess this weekend there's an episode on Dennis Rodman, which should be cool. I guess it's not just this weekend, tonight, because I usually record these and then put them up the next day. One more note before we jump into the cards today, and I didn't even open my first pack. It's okay. We'll get there. See, I'm just getting back into the groove of things. Did you see Post Malone? How about that? Post Malone recorded a Nirvana cover concert, and it was fantastic. I was blown away, and I don't like Post Malone, but I thought it was awesome. Now to the cards. You know the drill. We open with Topps opening day. 2020, tons of these cards. I've still been opening them. Even though they haven't been on YouTube, I do open them sitting here and add to my piles that are back there. Going to have to start to organize those in the next couple of days. Don't worry, I got quite a lot of time to deal with. So we got Michael Baez from the Padres. He is a rookie, played for Amarillo and the Sod Poodles last year. Ryan Braun. How do you feel about Ryan Braun, really, with the Brewers? Last year, hit 285, 22 homers, 75 RBIs, but he is far from the player who hit, 35, 40 home runs a season in the early 2000s. There were talks about him with PEDs. I don't know if any of that transpired or not. Still a serviceable player. But as far as Brewers go, I actually like the Brewers a lot. But as far as guys that I consider to be, as a Cubs fan, enemy number one, Ryan Braun's got to be on that list. Speaking of Brewers, here's Keston Hiura, who came up with the Brewers, hit 303 last year. I think he's actually maybe in Cincinnati now, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I don't know that to be certain. He's a rated rookie. And the Cubs, Wilson Contreras, all-star catcher, 105 games last year, 24 homers, 272 average. Established within the upper echelon of catchers as a hitter, pitch blocker, and thrower, he honed the less conspicuous skill of pitch framing, improving as he toyed with different techniques. He's got an 11.5 career WAR. That's third amongst backstops since 2016. That's pretty impressive. Here's Michael Conforto with the New York Mets. 33 home runs last year, batted .257. Conforto, when the Mets won 15 out of 16 on July 25th, he had a .345 with 7 homers and 15 RBIs with a 1.218 OPS. If you want to celebrate National Baseball Card Day, apparently it is August 8th, 2020. Look for special cards in the Home Run Challenge. I don't even know what that's in there for. And then we end with Screech. Not Screech from Saved by the Bell. Did you like Screech from Saved by the Bell? By the way, they're doing a reboot of that. Did you see that recently? Who's your favorite Saved by the Bell character? Speaking of the Boomers, which I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, not 2019, 2018, we had Mr. Belding in the broadcast booth. He came out to a game to sign autographs throughout the first pitch. And I asked him, I was like, would Kelly and Zach have made it today? He said, of course they would. It's a feel-good story. So, there you go. That's his thought. What about AC and Jesse Slater? Screech. What a show, right? Growing up, loving that one. This is Screech, the not-so-good-looking Washington Nationals Eagle, which he got to celebrate a World Series championship with the team he adores. Hatched in 2005. He was designed by a 9-year-old and updated his look in 2009. Screech. So here's this one. This is kind of cool. We're doing an interesting pack. I opened one of these during baseball season. It is the Star Minor League Baseball. Okay, this comes from 1989. It's the first ever series, and you can see on the bottom it says Tomorrow's Stars Today. Now I can tell you there are 10 cards in here. Obviously, these players, the cards themselves are not very flashy. I don't know a lot about some of these players. We'll delve in and see if there's any stories behind them. It just says on the back here, the players in Series 1 were chosen from more than 1,250 minor league players representing over 50 teams licensed to Star. So this is Star Minor League Baseball cards from 1989. How about that color packet? And there's a lot of talk about, obviously, what's going to happen with minor league baseball coming up here in the next couple of days as well. So it'll be an interesting story to kind of keep our eye on as that develops. Hi, whoever's been texting me over the last couple of moments. There we go. Star, 1989. I told you these cards. Just get a look at that card. Wow. This is a Jim Lee Masters. Apparently from the Braves, maybe? He looks like he's wearing green. It says Greenville on the front. He was the 10th pick in the 1986 draft for Greenville. I don't know this name at all, so he must not have made it for very long to the big leagues. He was out of the NAIA, where he went to West Liberty State College. I actually know where that is. It's now just straight up West Lib in West Virginia. Jim Lee Masters. Here is Mike Rhodes, who is an outfielder for Fort Lauderdale, which obviously has no team now. 28th round pick by the Yankees in 1988. Check out the back of these cards, too. How about that? You got the red on the front and the, 1980s almost sun-faded yellow on the back. He played for Sarasota in 1988 and hit .318. Okay, we got a Lakeland pitcher, Mike Jones. Lakeland was the Tigers, still is the Tigers. 35th round pick in 1988. He attended Loyola Marymount and Brigham Young. Struck out 195 innings in 1988. Played for the Lakeland Tigers. They're now the Lakeland Flying Tigers. I've actually been to a game there. That's where the Tigers play their spring training. But I don't know anything about whether he made it or not. Here's a Jerry Nielsen, a pitcher from Prince William. They obviously no longer have an affiliate. It was the Prince William Cannons, 18th round pick by the Yankees. Really good numbers in the New York Penn League. .71 ERA in 19 outings as a reliever in 1988. 6-2, 35 strikeouts in 38 innings. Sarasota, this was a White Sox affiliate. Look at those old White Sox jerseys there, right? The Sarasota Sox. Out of Ohio Wesleyan University, Division III product, speaking of D3. He hit .341, no homers and 25 RBIs. I'm pretty sure he never made it up. I don't know if we've had anybody in here who's made it to the big leagues yet. Here's Royal Clayton from Albany. I don't know if he's related to Royce or not. Arizona State University, UC Riverside, 18th round pick by the Yankees. This card has him from Albany, the Albany Colony Yankees. I don't know. 91 and a third innings, 2.36 ERA for Prince William, 44 strikeouts. This is such a random bunch of cards, and I don't even know how these ended up in my possession, to be perfectly honest with you. That's kind of why I like them, because they're so different. I've picked out a couple of packs that we're going to go through coming up, and like I said, in episode 15, I'll have some to open up some gum. Here's a Dira Clark from Memphis. The Memphis Chicks on the back of his card. Non-drafted free agent out of Arkansas and Oklahoma. 88 appearances for Baseball City in 1988. He had 34 appearances for Baseball City. 5-2, 2.71 ERA. Tommy Kramer from Kinston. Kinston changed their name. I believe they're now the Down East Wood Ducks, maybe? I think that's them. Anyway, he was a Rule 5 selection in 1987. 14-7 record for Waterloo in the Midwest League. Waterloo was at that time out of Iowa. He threw 198 and 2/3 innings. Minor leaguers throwing almost 200 innings now. You will not see that happen 152 strikeouts, 9 complete games on his line. He's out of Cincinnati. Now here's a guy I know did make the big leagues with our second to last card, also out of Kinston, which is in North Carolina, by the way. Charles Nagy. You recognize that name with the Indians? Yeah, he had a whale of a career. Buddy of mine was actually the play-by-play man in Kinston for a little while. Anyway, he was the second number 1 pick in the 1988 draft, 17th overall. No stats on the back of his card, but out of the University of Connecticut, he was a member of the 1988 Olympic team. And I'm actually finishing a book now called The Suspect about Richard Jewell in the 1996 Olympic bombing in Atlanta. It's fascinating, hard to put down. That was turned into a movie recently by Clint Eastwood. So I haven't seen that yet. I don't know if it's any good. Can't give you a review. If you have, holler at me. Let me know. We got one more card. This is from the Durham Bulls. That's a fitting way to end it, right? Bull Durham. Andy Tamberlin was both a pitcher and a hitter. How about that? You do not see that very often, especially at that point in time. He hit .301 for Durham, which was in the Carolina League in 1988. Graduated from Piedmont High School, non-drafted free agent. Must have switched from a pitcher to a hitter because his first 2 years, 86, 87, were as pitchers, and then 88 was as a hitter. Hit .343 in Burlington in the Midwest League, Burlington, Iowa. And then went to Durham, home of the Durham Bulls. They're now a AAA franchise. But in the Carolina League is about, if I'm not mistaken, when Bull Durham came out, I think that's what league they were in the movie. Of course, Kevin Costner as Crash Davis. I think I read recently that the inspiration for Nuke LaLoosh passed away this week. So shout out to Nuke LaLoosh, the real life Nuke LaLoosh. And if you haven't watched Bull Durham in quarantine and you have some time, watch Bull Durham. I know the anniversary of Field of Dreams coming out was this past week, but Bull Durham, in my mind, stands out as the best baseball movie. Do you have a favorite baseball movie? Holler at me, let me know. At TC Popcorn on social media, Twitter, and the Instagram. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Glad to be back. Our first episode in almost 2 weeks. Like I said, we've got episode 15 coming up when I'll open up the gum. That's 3 episodes from now. This is episode 12. We've gone through this pack of star 1989 minor leaguers, of which there was a grand total of 1 that I knew of who made it to the big leagues. I don't know. If you know of any of these other names that made it there, shout out to me that way as well. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. As always, wash your damn hands.